Fuel supply highlights public transport need. By James Poyner. State and federal governments are rolling out measures to ease pressure and maximise the availability of Australia's fuel stock. However, some measures only highlight the ongoing disadvantage that commuters in Manningham's Yarra Ward and the Nillumbik Green Wedge face on a daily basis. Following a meeting of the National Cabinet on March 30, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced the fuel excise. The tax levied on petrol and diesel would be halved for 3 months, from April 1 to June 30, which he said should bring down the cost of fuel by 26.3 cents per litre. Treasurer Jim Chalmers has also spoken regarding the tax change, reminding motorists that the changes may not be seen at the Bowser for another 2 weeks. However, Servo Saver seems to indicate that these savings have already been passed on, with petrol and diesel already down around 25 cents per litre. In early March, the state government enacted its anti-price gouging laws, enabling motorists to find the cheapest fuel in their area and punishing fuel retailers who price gouge. Under the scheme, retailers have until 2 p.m. to set their fuel price for the following day. The capped price is published on Servo Saver at 4 p.m. The price will apply for 24 hours from 6 a.m. the following day. Retailers can reduce the price during a 24-hour period, but they cannot increase it. The Servo Saver app is only available via smartphones using the Services Victoria app. Panic buying and lockdown-style hoarding has been blamed for the sense that we are running out of fuel domestically. In an address to the nation, the Prime Minister discussed the conflict in the Middle East and the impact it was having on Australia. He assured the nation that the government would shield Australia in these uncertain times. He asked Australia to live as normally as possible, but, where practical, to consider fuel-saving measures such as working from home and adjusting travel plans, advice that has been echoed by international bodies such as the International Energy Agency. Travel for free. In response to the ongoing energy crisis, Victoria and Tasmania have introduced free public transport options. In Victoria, all public transport is free for the whole of April. Like the weekend scheme over summer, throughout the whole of April, commuters can travel on trams, trains and buses for free, 7 days per week, with no need to tap on or off. For services that require a booking will still need to be made, but it will still cost nothing. MyKey passes, such as yearly, will automatically be paused to resume after April. Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen said the scheme was a temporary measure to help with the cost of living.
As Premier, I'm determined to do everything within my control to help Victorians deal with rising fuel prices. It will take pressure off the pump and help you save. This won't solve every problem, but it's an immediate step to help Victorians right now while we keep working on new solutions to make Victoria more affordable.
Crisis highlights public transport issue. While the fuel excise and public transport initiatives may ease some of the pressure, the issue around public transport, or lack thereof, is once again highlighted. Driving less and using public transport more only works if there is reasonable and regular access to it. Nillumbik Shire is a member of the Northern Council Alliance, which launched a campaign in October 2025 to advocate for better public transport in the region. The Connect Melbourne's North campaign has a list of advocacy issues including an efficient connected bus network that matches how people live and work, investment in rail projects like the Upfield Line extension and Wollert Rail, safer walking and cycling paths linked across council boundaries, east-west connectivity to improve access to jobs and services, better transport links to health infrastructure such as the Northern Hospital, investment in large road projects such as Hume Freeway Extension and the Outer Metropolitan Ring E6 Transport Corridor, Before the last federal election, one of Manningham Council's advocacy points was for better public transport in the municipality. The issue around public transport was flagged during the recent Warrandyte Community Facilities Review in response to questions about public transport access if Council is considering relocating groups to the South Warrandyte Hall. Manningham Mayor Jim Grievous said,
"We continue to advocate for the state government for improvements to Manningham bus services."
On the other side of Christmas Hills, neighbouring Yarra Ranges Council has published its 2025 to 2027 advocacy priorities, including better access to public transport. The council has stated,
"The Yarra Ranges community expects its council to advocate strongly for improved public transport services and infrastructure across our region. We know that over 90% of the Yarra Ranges residents commute to work by car, compared to 68% in Greater Melbourne, and that only 41% of households are located within 400 metres of public transport, compared to 74%. This car dependence limits access to jobs, education, and essential services, particularly for young people, seniors, and low-income households. It also contributes to congestion, emissions and social isolation. Our urban fringe, including Lilydale, Mooroolbark and Chirnside Park, is experiencing significant growth with an anticipated 20,000 new residents expected by 2041. Without targeted investment, transport disadvantages will worsen. To improve access to public transport and better connect our communities, Yarra Ranges Council has identified the following projects and calls on the Victorian Government to prioritise this car-dependent community's needs.
These projects include upgraded bus timetables with increased service, expanded flexi ride operations, and Lilydale line duplication. This story was read by Rebecca Rose, Paul Kelly, Margaret Kelly, and Adrian Rice.